So today I'm going to talk about how intuition relates to networking, because I know I've talked a lot about intuition, how important it is, what it is, how it's not the same as feelings and it's not the same as mindset, and it's this inner knowing. And I know, I have so many videos about how you need to network and how you need polarity in your network and just being consistent with networking. But I'm making this video today because I feel that there are two topics that really need to be tied together in a more coherent fashion, because essentially when you're networking and you're meeting new people all of the time, you are going to want to make deeper connections with some of those people. And some of those people are just going to stay in that passing acquaintance kind of bucket, or maybe you're not even going to talk to some of those people again, and that's okay because you're always meeting new people. So everybody you meet doesn't become your new best friend. Everybody you contact with is not necessarily going to be somebody that you have a further relationship with. So in terms of knowing which relationships are going to be more important going forward and getting a sense of knowing whether to invest more energy into those relationships, that really comes from intuition. So in that sense, I don't think talking about networking and meeting new people can really be completely talked about without talking about that all-important intuition piece. And too many people say first impressions aren't so important, so you have to present yourself a certain way, or people aren't going to like you or something like that. But I think a lot of that comes from the fact that a lot of people get feelings and intuition confused. So they may have had previous experience with people who are similar in some way, and that triggers emotions, but they may or may not be relevant for the situation. Intuition doesn't really have to do with past experiences. It's this in the moment kind of knowing about somebody. So even though past experiences kind of figure into this whole who do I need to know thing, intuition gives you this sense of people that's not found with feelings or past knowledge or other things. It's a whole other category in itself. And in order to really make networking outside of your normal social circles work for you, you really need to tap into the intuition, because the previous knowledge thing isn't going to cut it. Because when you're networking outside of your circles, you don't have the previous cultural knowledge to fall back on and say, well, this is how things are done, and these people interact this way, so it means this. Because when you're stepping outside of your normal social circles, even the way that people interact is going to be different than what you're used to. So certain behaviors might not mean what you think they mean, or certain responses might not mean what you think they mean. So when you're doing that, you're going to have to lean on your intuition a lot more than you may be used to, because you don't have that previous backlog of knowledge to determine what you need to do next. So intuition is just so crucial for networking that you can't really leave it out. And sometimes it can be tempting to try to avoid the intuition piece or pretend it's not a real thing and that everything is just learned knowledge and there's no intuitive knowledge, but it's not going to get you where you want to go, because you're not going to have that direction of, these are the people I need to meet, these are the people I need to have a deeper relationship with. And the other thing is, when feelings are getting in the way of tapping into that intuition, it can prevent you from having the relationships that you desire in order to achieve your goals. So let's just kind of step back from that a little bit and talk about how when you're in a new social group with people who don't know you, who you don't know them, who have like a completely different culture than what you're used to and a different way of relating to each other. And just to make this easy, I'll give you an example. So like, there's these coaching groups in the coaching industry where people send cold DMs with people they like don't know at all, who aren't even like friended on Facebook, and they like pitch their offer. And a lot of people are really annoyed by this because they're connecting to people in a different way, because what they want to do is put their offers out there, have their friends see their offers, have people in their group see their offers, and then have people who are interested contact them, so that they're not wading through like tons of direct message conversations for offers that they're not interested in. So sometimes this can kind of be like a mismatch of like culture or communication style, because on the one hand you have people, well, they're just really trying to sell their thing, but it can also be a very inefficient way of reaching people, and it can also be really annoying. So it's kind of trying to find that balance when you're communicating between different cultures, because like doing that in one instance might make sense if somebody is just afraid to reach out, or they just don't have that many people in their circles who they would even know about these offers from. But if like everybody is, cold DMing them, like nobody has time for that. So in that sense, it doesn't really work as an outreach strategy, because lots of times in order for a person to trust you, they have to have some kind of like previous relationship to believe that what you're offering is a real thing that can help them. So it's kind of this back and forth in terms of just cross-cultural communication. And that's not even like a really, really good example, but it can happen a lot of places. And this is sometimes why people don't like networking outside their circles, because they're like, I'm going to say the wrong thing, I'm going to wear the wrong thing, I'm going to do the wrong thing, and then people won't like me because, first impressions or whatever. And so a lot of times when joining a new community, the thing to do is just kind of sit back and observe things to kind of get a feel for it. But if you stay in that observing things and getting for a feel for it place too long, then you kind of destroyed the point of even joining that community, because you haven't really gotten the benefits of interacting with people in there. So sometimes it's worth it to just do something that's different and step outside of your comfort zone and just not worry about what people are going to think of you, because you have to keep the greater goal in mind. It can't just be about being liked in a given situation, because there are just so many communities out there and so many different types of people. And always keeping that big picture in your head is really crucial whenever you start networking outside of your circles.